You know, the first thing we're gonna do is verify it is what we're looking for. We like Detroit, so 60 series, that's a plus. Now this the big engine. This ain't a 12.7, this a 14.1. Arguably not as durable as a 12.7, but I beg to differ on that. I mean, really, it's the maintenance on all this stuff. One of the main things you want to look at on both sides of the block is if you come in here real small. Right there, you see a little plug right there? Little black plug right there, and they got another one right there. We got another one behind here. We got another one behind the start on both sides of the motor. Those are weak plugs. The way that motor put together, the block ain't one piece. The block is the block. All the cylinders and pistons and liners and stuff like that get pressed into the block. And all the liners got O-rings on them that seal it with the oil from the water. So the top O-ring seal the water, the middle O-ring just a safety, the bottom O-ring on the liner seals the oil that's at the bottom of the motor trying to come up. So all three of them seals go together, and what those do, them plug right there, is actually right there in the middle of where those seals contact. So if anything transfer, you'll kind of see them weep outside the block, and you'll know before they start weeping in the motor. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the things you want to look at, and you can't really hide it with no pressure wash or none of that, because it's something about cast iron and oil. You've been dealing with cars a long time. You stain the cast iron head with some oil, it just, I don't give a fuck what you clean it with, it's still gonna be brown. It will never come back be silver no more. You can't really hide it, because it pours. You're not too concerned about the oil pan. So a lot of people get real hung up on oil pan and breather valves and stuff like that leaking. That's stuff that you actually drop without removing the motor, doing that and crazy. What you really looking for is the rear main seal and this front structure seal where the actual engine block and the head meet up to what this called the gear train and the front structure of the motor. Where this meets this is your main area. You want to look all the way down to the front of the motor where this piece meets the block and the head. And for leaks, because to seal that, you have to basically remove the gear train to reseal that, re-time the motor, basically rebuild the front of the motor. And it's the same as rebuilding the motor. You might want to just info. A couple major components I want to just show you that you're going to be looking at for condition. One right here, this is a big one. Not super duper expensive, but it can cause some real problems with your engine if it malfunction. This is the air compressor. Supplies all your air for your reserve and your primary tanks. And what will happen is this compressor is fed by your engine oil. It's also fed by your engine coolant. Basically an engine-driven air pump. You know what I'm saying? That has a head gasket. It got a head. It got valves in it. It's like a baby motor on its own. And you could blow head gaskets in this, and people be like, you just blew the compressor. But it's like with anything else, if it pressurizes the cooling system, you'll mistake that for a blown head gasket on your motor, because this whole system is interlinked with your motor. So if this blows a head gasket, you'll start to see bubbles in your coolant tank. And that's what I'm saying, either that's a head gasket or a compressor, just a new compressor, but we ain't see no more bubbles. But you know what I mean, I'm just using that example from the other day. Your accessory drive gonna be actual common shaft that goes from your air compressor to this front shaft. This is your power steering pump. Your wires don't look like they've been inundated with oil or diesel or nothing. You don't want to see your wires just soaked in nothing. You want to see them relatively dry, because it mess up the on loads and all that type of stuff, throw the computer away. This your coolant filter. So you change it every time you do your oil and everything. Now this motor 14.1, so it does have EGR, which ain't nothing to really cry about. As long as the truck ain't using that DEF fluid, you ain't gotta spend $3 a gallon on that shit, you good. A lot of people say, man, get that off of there and delete that too. That's up to you. That's your water pump. So, you know, we looking at that, see, make sure that's not leaking out of the front of the back, which it isn't. You can see where they cover most of the hoses that touch everything like you gonna normally want to do. Like, Even after you get it, you're gonna look and check hoses and see what stuff lay on stuff, and you're gonna put a barrier between this stuff, because the vibration alone gonna rub holes in these hoses if they're touching each other. It's just how the truck run. Every motor got blow by. Brand new motor got blow by because the ring got a gap in it. You can't not have blow by. So like it's one of them things, well, the pressure in that motor, as long as you ain't got no major leaks that running on there, you can see it. Well, you can see that this stuff is kind of shedding oil, not so much legal oil. This attracting dust and it's been clumped up and it ain't wet. You know what I'm saying? It's just, I call that seeping. So it really ain't nothing I worry about, to be honest with you, because this motor got probably 1.5 million miles on it. It need to be seeping shit. I'm just looking at it, it's just good to be dry as it is. It's nice. That's why I say I like these trucks. They be set up with these truck and everything be where you can get to it. You got a turbo right there. Really change that at the house. You know what I'm saying? You get one for like $500-$600 and change it at the house. Alternator, change it at the house. Compressor, change it at the house. This your air dry for your water air separator for your truck. And these from time to time, if you don't service this filter right here, will go out. So it's in a good spot. You can get to it. You know what I mean? You ain't really got to see nobody buy much on this truck because most of it mechanical, bro.
What you doing?
Setting the high idle with the cruise control. Remember I tell you to do that the other night?
What you setting it?
1,000, 10. Y'all get trying to warm up.
Alright, you letting the oil get hot. So while you warm the engine up, the cooler coming up, the temperature, the block getting hot, the oil getting hot. When oil get hot, it get thin. So that's when your real oil pressure gonna come up. Like, it ain't the same when you first crank it up in the morning, you sit there and let it run for 20 minutes, it gonna drop. That's when you see what the motor really got left in it on life as far as bearing, because oil pressure ain't nothing but a product of clearance. If you got a lot of slack in the motor, you ain't gonna have no oil pressure. So ain't that squeezing shit. Everything just oozing out. You know what I'm saying? So once you get it up about 175, 180, run it up to high idle again, you working the oil, then you start putting more pressure on the oil, more RPM on the oil, you start working the oil, get the oil temperature up, then sit it back at idle with the oil pump working the least and the oil the thinnest, you'll know exactly where your real oil pressure is. Mr. HOTSHOT Haven.
Don't need no clutch.
Jake brake. I think you had on low on it, or was on low?
I had on high, I just ain't got the motor reeled up. I just want to see what it do at a real low RPM. But then when they the least powerful, I be testing shit when it like right now I'm pulling this at 1,000 RPM. I'm really loading the motor hard right now. I'm in like 11th gear, bro. I'm doing like 25 miles an hour in 11th gear. I ain't split it. I'm at 12 now. I split to the front, get off of it, get shift. Or get on it, get shift back. Chicken mirrors and really be in them pipes and see what's coming out that pipe. You want black, you really don't want blue that much. Sure enough don't want white. But when you put a heavy load on the motor like this, I got it up about 175 degrees. You know, it's holding the temperature real good. It ain't giving me no reason to think nothing else. And I got it in the last gear, and that's the last switch right there. So I'm at 13th. then I push it to the floor. It ain't really quivering or nothing like that, like it got no off injector or nothing like that, no funny leak down there. We crunk it up, it was cold, it crunk right up, so we know the injectors, they staying primed up while it's sitting, so that's good. You know, the injectors ain't leaking down. We ain't got no visible water leaks beside that little deal, which look like it pretty easy to fix. Now this a problem.
What? The play in, it got too much play?
No. Even exhaust tips. I don't like that.
The temperature all the way
It's
up.
the engine exhaust gas temperature. That's what I'm looking at. I'm trying to see is that gauge actually not functioning right, or is that really the 1500 degree? Because it's possible to do that if the turbo ain't opening up.
When I hit the scene, French head to my toe. Everybody looking in, I'm pulling all. Say you don't.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing about it. You buy the car, vehicle, the truck, you know what I'm saying, based on your feelings. You don't buy drivetrain based up on no feelings. You buy economic stuff that work and there's a readily available stuff. You don't, like, they got a lot of these trucks, a lot of Columbias, a lot of Freightliners, like the one you were looking at with the 10-speed, they got Mercedes motors in. A lot of people running from that motor. They really some really, really good motors. But at the same time, you ain't got no readily available technicians everywhere that work on Mercedes motors. You ain't got a lot of people that even will touch a Mercedes motor in certain areas. So even though it might be the cheapest truck at the auction, it run real good. You gotta think about what's going on tomorrow with that truck and what's gonna have to happen and where you have to send that truck to get it worked on. You know, all this expense in the midst of you not making no money while the truck got to go get worked on. So, you know, that one of the things where shit, it's a two-edged sword where you really losing all the way around. Most stuff on this truck can be changed with no computer intervention at all. You don't need no computer whatsoever. You ain't gotta have a computer reading codes because it's so old school. You can flash them up on the dashboard and check it like flash the code to you. You ain't gotta buy no computer. You know what I'm saying? Don't use no DIP. Ain't got no emission system. That's a $12,000 system that you ain't gotta deal with. You know, so that's a lot of why I be saying what I say. But it really about $1 because I ain't doing this shit for the fun of it and to be on Facebook saying I'm trucking like I'm trapping. I'm doing this shit for to make my family life better, man. You know? Yeah. I could have bought a Peterbilt day one. That could have been my first truck with a Caterpillar in it, but it ain't make sense. That's a trucker's truck. That's somebody that ready to retire truck. Or they've been doing it so long that they got other trucks that can cover up if that one go down. Because if that one go down, it costs a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? So that, like I said, that's not a beginner truck or a first truck type of truck. You know what I mean? You can't find a shell of that truck for less than $40,000. I'm talking about the shell of it. The motor don't even work and they want $40 for it because the paint still look alright. The motor don't work. So, you know, they give you an idea that you can buy 2-3 of the trucks out of bought for the price of one of those, get more work done, make more money, and at the end of the day, all that shit will pay for a Peterbilt or whatever. You want to go buy a goddamn Maserati or something, then buy that too. You know what I'm saying? But it's all about your first initial sacrifice that you're making, which you did right here, being the more economic and smart move that you can make. So even if shit do go bad, you ain't got no regret. Be like, damn, I know I should have bought that motor. Or damn, I know I should have bought that truck with that transmission. And now you got a drivetrain. Now if some more shit go on, you really can't fault yourself. There's some shit you ain't know. Previous owner might not disclose. You really can't be mad. But if you bought some oddball shit just because it was cheap and you got on out there and it blew up in that week, you'll really kick yourself in the ass. That's why folk can't hardly sell the international trucks and stuff like that because they're max force engine. You can buy one of the trucks right now, 2009 for about $9,000. And don't nobody want it, but some people will get them, run them till they blow up, and just go get another one. They disposable like that. But for somebody to put their all into it on a venture, and this all my chips down and everything like that, it'll be the craziest thing in the world, but it'll be the easiest thing in the world to do. You
kind of tire do you recommend when you get a new tire?
Just the highest ply rated name brand tire that you're gonna get. Probably a 16 ply on the steers. I run Yokohamas and Toyos. Firestone make a good tire. I'm not recommending Michelin, not for what we do, just because it's a great on-highway tire. It lasts a long time, but it's a little too soft for what we do. And when I say soft, it's just a little bit too susceptible to get pierced and cuts and scrapes and different things like that that actually go through the tire. Like the tire is great for mileage, rides awesome and everything, but they're just a little too soft for what we do. And we go off-road a lot and do some stuff. We go places that ain't just interstate. So, you know, it's one of the things where you gotta actually be concerned about the toughness of the tire. So, like I said, Toyos, Yokohama, Bridgestone, Firestone. That's what I'm recommending. Highest ply rating on the steers that you can get, if you can afford 18 plies, put them on there. It ain't gonna hurt that, but at least a 16 ply on the steers, and I like to see at least a 16 ply on the drive tires. And this truck got some awesome looking drive tires and steer tires. It really got some nice looking tires on it, so that's an expense that you ain't got to incur. Looking like, the way it looked back there, probably about another year. But that's about, all together under this truck right now, about $5,500 worth of tires. So, you know, just to have that head start is real good. Music in a truck, no, it ain't illegal. Like I said, we got partners out here on the road running competition setups in the trucks. They got fiberglass door speakers in. They got the whole band missing number speakers back there. So that's really a personal preference thing. And one of the joys of being an owner operator, you go work when you get ready, you do what you want to do to your truck. You're supposed to feel comfortable. I know the freight line I got, the first thing I did was cleaned up the inside real good. And everything that I touch, I changed. Everything that I got to touch every day, that old ass 91 steering wheel with all crushed and shit, put me some wood in there. Shift handles, all this stuff you got to touch every day. If it's just some stuff, just make yourself more comfortable and make it more appealing. I'm staring at this steering wheel all day. If it don't clean up as good as I think it should clean up, $150 change the game and make it look like something. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's really your outfit, man. And you'll wonder why you see trouble with all that shit on their phone, on their trucks, and lights everywhere and stuff. Man, them folks enjoying themselves. Them folks making a lot of money, and they enjoying themselves. They got to write the money out some kind of way. Why not make sure it look good? But then later, you know, man, then later. But right now, I cleaned up real good in the inside and just concentrate on making sure the motor 100, which we know is 100. Make sure all the little water leaks and small things that going on be addressed. And I'm really ready to put this motherfucker in line now. Like if it get that little shit addressed right there, this truck could be working tomorrow. Really
So by how much I'm looking at the patch up a few little minor things?
Probably about $100 at the most. I just said $100. You don't have a lot of change up on it. Yeah, it ain't really much to do, man. Other than that, open up the battery box and just see the condition of the batteries. Like I said, the ends and everything. You may have to invest a few $100s in fresh batteries. I advocate anybody that get a truck that got questionable batteries or cables or ends, just go on by that front of the door while you at home instead on the side of the road when they're gonna charge you double. Yeah, that's really the basic things of getting the load ready. You know what I'm saying? And like I say, really can't tell too much about how it rides more or less like this because it changes when you put weight on it. So between now and starting out with it, we'll probably hook up a trailer. Just make sure the fifth wheel ain't got no slack in it. If it does, get it adjusted. And make sure your rear suspension is feeling solid and everything. Ain't nothing squirming around back there, which I can't feel no evidence of it. So, like I said, that's just a few of the things that you're gonna look at. We already checked the brakes, the shoes, looked at the airbags, suspension. Ain't got no shocks leaking, no bushes torn. Everything looking like it ought to look. And like I said, we'll know a little bit more when we put a little weight on it and see a little better. But right now, everything looking really good. And the actual engine exhaust temperature It's reading normal now. So like I said, it may just be a condition with the probe on that gauge, because right now it's reading right where we want to see, about 750, 800 degrees, pulling a steady hill with no load. So it looks good. Like I said, I believe you got you one, Jay. Like I said, I wouldn't say it if I wouldn't buy it. I'd buy it. I'd buy the truck.